Hey guys, it's Andy from Sutton once again. Just wanted to give you a quick video of what I'm up to. I am out of the intermodal yard for now, and I started laying my cork for that yard lead that I had spoke about in the last video. So I'm sure you guys all know how to put down the cork. You do your center line, get your center line down. I'm using, I believe that's that Midwest cork. Comes in 3-foot sheets, strips, separate it. I sand the edges down, and then I do one side naturally, glue it, let it dry, and then I do the other side up against it. Now after I get all these thumbtacks out of here, what I'll do is I'll take a little block sander like this guy right here, and what I do is I'll just kind of give it a whole running up and down along the whole top, make it nice. And then I'll clean up the edges the whole way. And so there you go. Your cork will be down. I use white Elmer's glue, which works good with this cork, Midwest cork, onto the plywood. I use push pins. I use nails. I use just a little bit of everything to hold it on down. And it's drying up now, as you can see. So let me go down to this side, then I'll double back. So this is going to be my yard lead. It's going to come down along the two main lines. Kind of a bad angle there. But this is what I was trying to explain on that last video. And then he bleeds into the bed. That leads to the yard. And then I also started laying track over here. Now the track goes down. It's going to go around. It's going to go behind the turntable. Now, I know it's very close and it cuts off half my turntable. But I really only want to have, I don't know, 4 or 5 tracks over here. Just enough to get a decent sized roundhouse in here. Or maybe more. But that track comes down and around. And around and around, and it ties into that switch that I had that ultimately leads to my yard. So you have the two main lines there, and the inner main line comes into the yard. Once again, there's the yard. So when you come in from the other end also, you'll be able to, come right down this yard lead, or you can have a train working the yard on this lead. So there you go. I am using Atlas Code 83 Flex Track. And that also is not all that hard to put down. You guys do it by the miles also. What I do is I went out and got myself a little box saw here, a little hand saw with the miter saw. I flipped the track over to start with. I'll cut a tie or two off on this end. I'll cut a tie or two off on this end. I then take a little pin bit. And I drill through the little holes that they have in the back here. And I'll go through those, pop them, drill them through, so that's all set. So once the ties are all cut off the ends, and I use that pin bit or vise, whatever you want to call it. I put these very nice rail joiners on. I think Micro Marks makes them. They're kind of a bitch to get on. Actually, here's some. Look at, they're all turning green in there from oxidation, I think, but what I do is they're very hard to get on, but check out Micro Marks. I think they make it. But if you use this guy, you can run them right in between and separate the joiner just a little bit, just enough to get them on like those guys are sitting on there. And what you end up with is a pretty good looking rail joiners, like right there, those two. And then I come back and I fill in the missing railroad ties I cut a couple, then I trim off the little nubs, and I color them up with a furniture stick, believe it or not, that came with some of the furniture up in the house. And I slide the ties in, and so there you go. So that yard lead's going to come around. I can have 2 trains running on the main. I can be working the yard all night long without even interfering. But what is also nice is I'll be able to park one hell of a train off of the main line in the yard, so I can get my track cleaning equipment out to clean one main, then flip over from main to main and clean that main. So there we go. We're coming around, coming around, coming around. It's going to be interesting to see how long of a train I can bring in here also. And then one last thing I'll show you is, well, we'll also be able to work the container yard, because there's the container yard. And when you kind of come out of that, I'm going to cut this switch in. Now this guy here is a number 8. Okay, so he's just sitting there. And so I'm going to use a number 8. I use all the number 8s on the main line. This is also Atlas. And then I thought, seeming I'm going to bring him over to the track, why not, if I cut him in, I can have another turnout here. I'll just have a stub track. So I'm going to end up with something like, well, it's kind of shitty to see right now because the thumbtacks are in the way, but I'm going to end up with a coming off that main into the yard, and then I just wanted to leave this tail here, and what I'll do is I can have some locomotives sitting here, or a couple of lost freight cars that get lost in shuffle, and they'll be on this tail. And then when you come around, you're going to have, it's going to be kind of cool. That's real rough, but you have like a double crossover, I guess you could call it. So I can have some locomotives sitting right in here that service the yacht. Alrighty, gentlemen, that's it. Elmer's Glue, Midwest Products, Cork, Sand It, Centerline, Code 83 Flex Track. That's what I use with the nice little nails. Continue on.